shut it down. Well, then everybody ran down to jump on the streetcar and ride down to the ferry building and back. And they only charged you a one-way trip.
What year was that?
Oh, God, when I was about 20 years old, 19, yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
And then you get back right up, and there was a big, more like a hot dog and a hamburger deal. I forget what they called them. It was a big deal, and it was right more or less in the middle of the trolley deal there. And he'd go down to the ferry boat back, and he'd stop, and all the kids would jump out and run over there and buy one, and jump back on the ferry. They'd go down and get their cars and that and go home. And that was kind of a Saturday night usual for, or someone, they had strip joints. They'd come in at midnight. Why, the guys would go down to the strip joints and go in there for a while. But I mean, San Francisco was a town that it was just kind of wide open on Saturday nights, but there was never any big trouble there at that time.
No.
And you used to have a hell of a good time there. But go down to the beach and that, it was a great deal. And like you could buy a whole string of tickets for pretty near half the price, and then you would if you just bought one ticket at a time.
Yeah.
And hell, you just jump on this and jump off of that and on the other one. And the guys that run the streetcars and that were all older guys, and they just talk to you and that. And you used to have a great time in San Francisco. Go to San Francisco on Saturday night was a big event. But all that stuff's gone anymore.
Yeah.
So what did you do? Did they have dances, or people just hang out and talk?
They had well, they had like diamond dance deals. Where they'd have girls there, and you go in, you drop a dime in a deal, you go out and she'd dance you a few rounds or something, or you could put more in if you wanted to. And they had all kinds of events there.
Okay.
You know, and of course we used to be big to go to San Francisco on Saturday night. That was Sunday too was big in San Francisco, and the whole Bay Area. There was a good place to live in the wintertime. Way back then, you just had to enjoy yourself.
This was all before the war?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This before when the war broke out. That really made a big change in it then.
Yeah. So this is all the 1930s.
Because
yeah.
You had the people from other states that, coming to camps there or being shipped out of there, and then when you got into people arguing and fights and about who's who and what's what and all that stuff, and they become a lot more trouble back then too.
Okay.
San Francisco was, some of the stuff that comes on TV now is really shows the old San Francisco and what it was like, and it was a great place to live. Well, in Santa Cruz, on Sunday, Santa Cruz was a big deal, and go down there and all kinds of events too. And then there used to be something that went on, I forget what they called it, in Santa Cruz, right in the middle of summer, but it was 4 days long. And like Aunts and Poogie, and we'd all go together, and Dad had a tent there, and we'd take that down there and put it up on the beach. And we'd stay down there for 4 days, and had a hell of a time. And you weren't bothered much with, people. People now say, well, you ain't robbing you. They didn't do that much of that back then. Of course, usually it was always one or two of the guys that half drunk laying in their bed or something. But,
yeah.
And then you go down to, what was it? I think it was at the end of the month, there was the Jewish clothing stores, especially for men, would have big sales. So they'd all wait like Poogie and the guys that wore suits and that where they worked or whatnot. They'd wait until Friday night, and then Saturday, boom, they'd go down and hit Jew Row there, boy. And they say, a Jew will never let you walk out of the store without selling. He says, that's pretty much the truth. They'll bring a price down, by God, or you'll you'll finally pay for it. But we used to have a lot of fun there, and you know, I sit and, well, you might say, dream of the things that we used to do and the fun we used to have, and it's a shame the young people today don't have all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you leave? When did you leave Redwood City? Was that during the war?
Well, when I got well, I started working for Hatterhand Construction,
Yeah.
and that's when I started traveling then to different places. And then when the war broke out, within 24 hours, man, we were just traveling, going from one place to another, and setting up camps and doing this and that, and it never stopped. Then it was 24 hours a day, go, go, go. And at the time, well, I started about, they knew it was coming, because we started in Moffett Field, I'd say at least 3 to 4 weeks before the war, and we were building what they call horseshoe airplane bomber protection.
Hangars.
And it was
Yeah.
they just went in and took people's orchards and everything else, tore them down, and started just digging up dirt and just pouring it. And they staggered them to where one was blocking the other one's door, or the other, so they could just get the planes into
Yeah.
them. And they'd build them up about 6-8 foot higher than the airplanes were. And that went on 24 hours a day. And then right about that time, everything more or less turned to 24 hours a day. People working at that. And then when the war broke out, then it just, boom, it was all over the place. And they wouldn't argue or fight. If you come in and say, we're going to take your orchard out, no, well, that's tough. And there'd always be two guys on then it was no more their wives or something else. It'd be two men there. And they just go in there with bulldozers, trees and everything, just doze them out in piles and burn them. I mean, there was a lot of stuff done that didn't need to be done.
Yeah.
But it got done there. Because they was afraid there was being attacked.
Yeah.
You know? And then that just went on for, well, until you got drafted into the Army, and it was just a different life altogether. And of course, the guys like, well, Poogie, he'd already joined the Marine Corps. Him and Charlie had joined the Marine Corps before that. When they got out of high school, there was nothing to do, and one day they went up to San Francisco, and there was a guy enlisted for the guys for the Marine Corps. Yeah, let's try it. It was 4 years, and they signed up and went in and started taking training and that. Well, then it wasn't very long after that when the war broke out, and then boy, they were gone, both of them. We never seen. Well, Charlie was over there after the war ended. I mean, they had listed him as dead.
Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And so he was over there quite a while after, and until Fritz came over and asked Dad to go, they said that there was somebody over at the Marine base that said he was Charlie Williams. He said, we were notified he was killed 3 months ago. And so Dad says, yeah, he went over and it was Charlie. But Charlie was always kind of weird after that. I mean, like he would, on a Friday night, they come up there, I don't know, you remember one Friday, and Mom had made the beds for the kids and them and everything, and had dinner for them, and they stayed till around 11 o'clock, and he said, well, let's go. And Dad said, where you going? And she just, like that with her hands, don't say anymore. And after he left the room, she said, he'll drive all night. He won't stop other than to get gas of that. She says, and he says, it's the feeling you're free.
Yeah, he was captured, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was prisoner for,
yeah.
I think 3 years.
Yeah.
3 years, I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was captured and kept up in Manchuria. He wasn't really down. I don't know how Russia and Manchuria and them all relate to each other, but he was in Manchuria, and then when they were freed, I mean, the local freed them. They were kept in this camp there, and the two countries are kind of related, it's like in a way, but not really closely related. And he said this one officer of the Manchurian government there walked up with a gun. And he says, "Any of you guys here, you've got an enemy there, and you want him here." He threw a gun out. One guy grabbed a gun and he killed the guy. Now he said, as far as he knew, they never done a darn thing about it. He shot that guy dead. Because he said they would cook up like cabbage because the Red Cross was coming. And they'd cook up this big pot of cabbage and some beef or pork or something and it was cooked all along while the Red Cross was going through there. He says, we never got any of it. Only their own army ate that. We got the same old junk we'd get before. But the American Red Cross accepted it. But yeah, but you had to pretty near get Charlie drunk to get him to talk about it. He kind of had it on the back of his mind all the time, I think. But no, it was.
Well, no, the Japanese were known to be very brutal with their prisoner of war camps.
Oh,
very brutal.
He said he told me he got drunk there one night, and was telling us, and he said, "You can't believe," he said, "those sabers they got how sharp they are. They can bend a man over anything," and he says, "Go like that and cut his head completely off, just boom, just like that." And he said they all started laughing about it. You know, he said that's the kind of people they are.
Yeah,
No, he probably could have wrote a good book, but you couldn't get much out of Charlie until he got some drinks in him, because he just didn't like to talk about it. But there's a lot of things went on then, and it's kind of changed the world.
Yeah.